G'day, my name's Fern, and what I have here is a thesis. It's a complete overview of relativity and where we actually are positioned within the universe. Down below me is an entire jigsaw puzzle of evolution in the form of fossils, as the jigsaw puzzle to put all of the information on the whiteboard together, much like a jigsaw puzzle as well. So I'll go through each of the pieces. This isn't the full extent of a collection, but perhaps the highlight of a collection, and to give some inclination as to the true realities. Perhaps I'll start with this piece here. This piece here is in fact a T-Rex egg. The end part of it has been broken. The fetus is still intact though. And it would been the last of the evolutions that we would evolve from. In mammoth, in fact, comes first. The next piece over here is a piece of pterodactyl. That is a pterodactyl egg in its entirety with complete fetus. This piece here is in fact the evolution of the dinosaur, and the entire egg has turned to gemstone. These pieces around here are all eggs. Everything that you see is the basis of an egg. As this in fact is a mammoth egg. This one here in fact is a monkey egg. Then we have twin eggs from the dinosaur period, a single egg from the dinosaur period, and so ongoing. My belief is that what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I believe the manifestation of an evolving range of species, and the eggs were birth. Once the child or the offspring had been born, the outside layer of the egg had been removed, which is the only explanation of how we can evolve from an amoeba. This piece itself is a piece of coral, which is actually amoeba. It's monolithic, and it doesn't cathode or anode with any other substance. In the meantime, I'll just grab a photograph. This, in fact, is this piece of amoeba, which is coral, that was entrapped in the middle of an original volcanic rock here locally. This is basalt, which is the byproduct of the original volcanoes that made the landmass. And this material in here, which caused that entire rock to split because it has nothing to resist against, as amoeba is a single cell. Its electrolysis is on the higher scale, therefore everything else will corrode to its material. So this is the same material as the coral, which is basically amoeba. Each of the components that are here have an evolution in their own right. In order to give some premise of different types, all I can do is use the information that's been available and piece the jigsaw puzzle together. These parts here are of mammoth, and that in fact is the inside. That in fact was a mammoth egg. These here are the extension of the coral. These are trees from evolution from both mammoth and dinosaur. And this piece here, in fact, is a palm tree from the dinosaur period, which would probably cut better than emeralds. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a fossil. This piece here is what the pterodactyl would eat, and that's a snake. It's matter underneath. This was found in our backyard, and this is a snake of python head that would have been consumed by a pterodactyl. We assume most of what we've done by reference of its characteristics, and like all logistics, piece it together. This in fact is a pterodactyl leg. This in fact it is a pterodactyl wing bone. As you can see, it encountered a lot of heat. We have other fossils that have been cauterized from the extensive heat, but not everything was affected by the concept of a meteorite hitting the so-called planet and causing everything to burn. These components are in pristine condition. This part here is a T-Rex tooth. What you see on the internet are in fact mammoth tusk. Those concept of a tooth would break in the first instance. I have dinosaur flesh and it wouldn't have the ability to penetrate. The teeth had to be very robust and strong, take much similarity to a whale's tooth. This fact in here is a dinosaur eyeball that's been cut. From what species? I'm not 100% sure. This in fact is the leg bone of a dinosaur. This is what's been left. And these are the various eggs from that period of time, which would probably need to be identified either as probably snake or small rodent type existence or animals. This in fact is a vacuum of evolution. So whatever its concept was certainly a variation. I also have another piece, insect egg, that has something on the inside of it. It's classic from the dinosaur period. The one thing about the dinosaur period is the colouring. Normally, that type of kinesis would create a gene which would vary our, would you say, constants and variables of existence. The dinosaur, in fact, would rate about 7-to-1. Anything that we would relate to as dimension or density or mass, the dinosaur is about 7 times the amount. This, in fact, is plasma that you can see through with tissue, more than likely from the dinosaur period. So as we come down a bit further, we look at the consensus of these pieces here belong to monkey. This is a complete monkey's head, as these species were hunted out and primarily hunted for their brains. When we look at the reality, this in fact is a monkey's head that had been smashed in, and as you can see is the monkey's face, his eyes, his nose and his lips. So he would sit there like that. Also, a monkey come from an egg. This is what they call yaourt nut. Right, it's choroid. And again, it would have given birth probably to the egg and then just removed the membrane on the outside. This is a piece of monkey skull, ancient monkey skull, and a piece of human skull. These are both ancient. It appears there is no overlap between us and the so-called concept of the monkey. About 7 degrees separation. This is a piece of anthropology, probably more than likely during the mammoth period, because it was oxygen-based, and you'll find that most oxygen-based life forms, on its deterioration or its entropy, will create a gemstone as opal, and there are numerous kinds of opal, and it's the byproduct of plasma. This piece here, again, is plasma. It more than likely belongs to the mammoth period. It's also got pieces and fragments of its whole cellular system, and other pieces with its internals of its bone and calcium. This one here, quite oddly, is shaped like a mammoth each way you look at it. It's in fact just a fossil that was found about 600 metres under the ground here in Australia. Beside that piece is this piece here. This in fact is a piece of rainbow serpent with its blood and DNA, and as we understand, salt water produces predominantly white flesh and ground animals produce red flesh. So this is a piece of what was considered rainbow serpent. It wasn't a serpent, in fact it was an eel and inhabited Central Australia, because most of Central Australia in current times is below sea level. Once those conditions changed, then obviously it became extinct. This piece here is a very, very old piece, an ancient piece of mother of pearl. Its hardness is almost that of diamond. It's between sapphire and diamond. So it's been around for a very, very long time. This piece here signifies quartz, and under electron microscope, the quartz crystal takes the same geometrical infrastructure as a white blood cell, as like a snowflake, right? And it has both black and white quartz, as you can see. So it's solidified plasma. So obviously nature itself has a balance of positive and negative, for a better term. So when we collect all of these components up collectively and then reflect back onto the whiteboard, that is the basis of our relativity, right down to technology. And at the end of the day, all of the misuse and abuse of information that has pretty well rendered our existence synthesized. The true reality of reality is this itself is a trihelix. It derives from E equals mc squared, which is this calculus here. It wasn't Albert Einstein that wrote E equals mc squared. It in fact was the Aztecs. And this ends up as genetics. So what we find is it creates a trihelix, whereas we're a dual helix. We're single to dual helix. I personally have a 6 lower vertebrae. I'm a Fern, and my heritage is the origin of the evolution in this country. I take no elevation of any sort, but at the end of the day, the reality is that we've been totally synthesized by consensus. Even the concept of God is represented as 3:1:1, which drives window, and in a trihelix. So as we come down the board, we go into the natural ordinance. Some of this algebra I wrote personally. And so at the end of the day, you've got to have a complete balance sheet so that there's no residues for or against. Right? So this, in fact, is a kinesis and a trihelix. There are places for its application, but unfortunately this information has been used to pretty well synthesize our entire existence, because it's not the overall consensus. So this is our evolution. This is our reflection on relativity. Make of it what you will. This morning we're going to have a look at gemstones, and yes, we will be looking for some offers in regards to what's on the table. I'll go through and explain each of the pieces basically and what they are, and I'll use a pointer as a pen to show the size. But perhaps what we will do is we'll start with this one here. This is a solid gemstone. This is Savourite, known as green garnet, one of the most exclusive and rarest gems in the world. This is a solid piece and registers around 790 carats. This group here is a range of different stones. It's a sapphire. Another sapphire. I kept it as it was because I like the pattern. Piece of topaz. Mother of pearl jade. And a very unusual coloured agate. From this side over are numerous pieces of Koroite opal. We have a bigger selection of all this, but they're just a number of pieces. It's hard to see the full colour as we're inside, but in the sunlight they absolutely explode with colour. Coming down here, this is an exquisite piece and a very old piece of green tourmaline, a very high quality piece of black tourmaline, and again another piece of green tourmaline. In the centre, these two here are royal blue diamonds. The centre is a gold sapphire and the other two are blue sapphires. Because they're in raw form, it's hard to see the quality through the camera, but they're very, very high quality diamonds. Then we can move on to a selection of jade. This jade is all very, very exclusive, from an iridescent green to a red, to purple, to pink, and a range of different jade. All the pieces at the front here are imperial jade. Other raw, rare pieces in collaboration with the raw pieces, and very exclusive. This particular piece is impregnated with gold. I only have the one piece, but the rest of them I've cut from bigger boulders. This would make an absolutely fantastic carving stone, prominently a crouching tiger. This I showed yesterday, which is an ancient piece of white mother of pearl jade. It is beyond fossil itself, and all of these pieces of jade are almost as hard, some pieces even harder than sapphire itself. So they're jadeite and not soft jade. The pink is quite prominent. Here's one with a cat's eye, and everything that's in the jade is all natural, as it is with the rest of the stones. So what we will be looking for is offers, but appropriate offers, and we do have a limited amount of other stocks, but as far as the jade is concerned, there is no other quality that would be available to this extent. The bluestone is a form of a lapis, very, very close to lapis, and is a magnificent piece, solid, that can either be used for carving or broken down into pieces of jewellery. All of the stones here are all of top shelf quality and no makeshift. Burmese, imperial, and the rest of it all exquisite, exclusive, rare colours. So please, by all means, if you can make an offer, we'd be more interested to talk further. We do have other jade, which is the same quality in boulder form, but are unable to produce that all on camera at the same time. So we've selected what is a great selection of stone. Some of these jades are just no longer available anymore. That's traditional Asian, Chinese jade, yellow. Thank you, and we'll leave our details at the end if you wish to contact us.